Hello, Monika.
Hello, David.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
How's it going so far? Everything okay?
Yeah, yesterday was the day was great, fantastic. Yeah. There was intensive discussions and very interesting topics to this that was discussing. Yeah, and yeah, we will see how it's today. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the schedule? I'm
Yeah,
first.
I make an introduction now. Yeah,
Mhm.
and then we will start with the first round of the speakers, yeah, to talk about it. Yeah. And I think it's now 12, so I will start. Yeah, I will make my presentation. Let's show big. Um, okay, this is the second day of the EMAMI 2024, um, Empowering Artists, Minorities, and this is good, fantastic. Yeah, the day of yesterday it was very very nice, very interesting discussions, and today the idea is to discuss it about the solution, the proposed solutions for to bring more diversity, equality, and inclusion in the art world. And uh, now I will try to make a summarization or some reflections about what yesterday, about the day of yesterday. Yeah, and yeah. Um, One thing that was there was commenting Sara Ghosh and Ariana is about the participation. How important is the participation and integration of the community to create more diversity, equality, and inclusion in the art world? Yeah, and this is a key element to we have to discuss and has to be integrated into the museums for the decision making. I mean, we are talking about decentralization of power, yeah, in the curatorial and then the selection of artists and the artworks, and integrating more the community and more experts and from all the world in their decision making. And one of the suggestions that that I think it will be great and something that we will discuss now today is how the Web 2 and Web 3 technologies could help to this curatorial decentralization of the decision making. Yeah. One of the reflection is that it still remains the question: how does it mean to be a diverse museums? And one of the in my reflections, there was in some articles that I wrote is very important to define how to create also a diverse museum, and I think this is one key element to define it is the scope on the scope of the museum, the influence that the museum has in the society, in the community. That it could be the scope could be local, regional, national, and international, and this is very important to take account for the metrics and the decision making that is doing the museum. There is in the odbk we have initiated a wiki project that is an archive of all our research that we have doing in the last years, gathering information about how to create diversity, equality, and inclusion in the art world. This is an archive, and this is an open archive also that all people can participate and can also integrate their research, their papers, their documents, their information. Yeah, because it's a repository to share and create a community. Yeah, also and to exchange this knowledge and to exchange all this information with all the world, with all museums, that in a way that to help them to create more diversity, equality, and inclusion. And in this, you can search it in this URL. Is this day4.art. And yeah, will be great to have your feedback about it. Yeah, we have structured the website in topics and in groups of information, a group of typification of elements. For example, people, conferences, books, movies, or topics also, like how to create, how to start supporting museums, how the elements of the metrics, etc. Yeah, so all the EMAMI documentation will be gathered there. Yeah, there is a link called Conference and Events, and there is the EMAMI conference link where we will gather all the documentation, all the presentations of the speakers, yeah, that will share, and all your reflections. You can insert that there. One thing that really makes me thought yesterday was a comment of Sara, Asahina, and she was talking of exactly that was that the museums, libraries, and our institution belongs to all citizens who are part of the city, the state, of the country, independently if they come to immigrate or not. And this is something that we in the odbk, since the beginning, we thought about it, trying to find a solution to the question of how to make the art world, how to make the more people taking part of the decision making of what we know as art. And this independently of the religions, of politic orientation, or age, or origin, etc. So and we realize that the economic model where we live, it has a lot of influence on that, how we perceive the democracy also. And for our point of view, we have to rethink and to propose new ways to and more participative and more integration. And this is, we have to all take in responsibility of this decision making. So there is an economic model created by the activist Michael Alberts called PARECON, participative economy. And we have some projects developed based on these thoughts of this alternative economic model, where the main base of this economy model is that decision making has to be made by the people affected by the decision. So I invite you all and encourage all to keep participating in all lectures and discussion in the EMAMI 2024 and today and tomorrow. Okay, good. So we will start with the first session round, the speaker round from today. And I want to welcome to Monika and to Mirella, yeah, to this. Thank you so much for accepting to talk in this conference in EMAMI 2024. And yes, I mean, we will start this discussion, these speakers, with Monika. Monika Siudek. Monika has more than 20 years of experience in human resources, working in different senior positions with international operating companies. She gained experience in commercial organization in retail, logistics, and production, and supports dynamic organizations in the areas of cultural transformation, development of engagement, building efficient teams, performance management, and leadership development. Monika operates close to the business and can easily switch between all levels within the organization. Strengthened by her skills to organize and influence, this makes her very effective in any change process. Monika is open, direct, hands-on, and will keep the goal in mind. For many years, Monika has been active in the management board of a foundation in Poland, supporting people at risk of social exclusion. She runs a support group for parents of enthusiastic children and involves various charity initiatives. Monika, thank you so much, and yeah, we are very happy to have you here.
Thank you, David, for this introduction. But this is very official of my bio, so it's a little bit like CV. Maybe I will tell something more, and maybe I will explain why I'm here, because I don't belong to the art world itself, but during this conference I represent some kind of a business side, because right now I run the small organization, which also it's as a company, we actually introduced this kind of diversity and equality programs in companies. We introduced this policy in the companies, so that's why this subject is very important for me, because I believe that without the diverse and diversity and equality, actually companies can't survive in today's world, and also can't develop. So I think it's important for the business as the same as for the art. And what we are doing actually in the business, it's quite technique which called collect like best practices. So we watch our surroundings, and we try to find the leaders in some discipline and learn from them. So my topic for today was how the internet and online tools can promote quality and diversity in the art institutions. So I collect some information, and maybe I will share my presentation right now. Because I have a few examples of this best practices which I collected about the art world. When I think about the day in the art world, I think about actually two aspects. I think that yesterday you actually mostly discussed about the side of the institutions and the artist point of view of the situation, but I also think about the audience, and I think the both are the same important. The both spheres influence each other, and what you said, David, it's very important that also the audience, I mean local audience of the art can influence what actually is shown. So I think that of course the internet has an extremely big influence on the art world, but I try to focus today on three aspects. The one of the aspects is inclusive curation, and I will try to present a few examples of how it can be organized. Another aspect is global accessibility, and the last but not least, of course, is how the underrepresented artists can also have some space in global internet. So one of the examples, exclusive curation, is initiative of the UK Art. It's a organization in England, and actually, as you can see on the map, they present online exhibitions from few different museums, which are in the different areas of England, and they even call themselves the home for the English art. Another example is MoMA, quite a known institution, and they have also online platform, and in this platform you can see actually the history about artists, like you can see in this description of the website. It's more than 30,000 artists represented on this platform, from well-known to also this lesser known. MET also has a very simple platform, very similar platform. It's absolutely obvious that they have an extremely big collection, and this collection can be shown because of course museum has some capacity, but you can see nearly all of their collection online, so all the people can have access to all the items they have in their collection, even if they are not shown at the time. And I think, in my opinion, also very nice initiative of Google. Google as a platform created some kind of a space called Art and Culture, and then you can actually online visit many of very famous museums, but also smaller museums. But the platform is quite interactive, and then also can engage even people from absolutely different culture. But you can find also simple games for kids that they can develop their interest in the art. You can find many very interesting stories about also life of famous and less famous artists. Another form of inclusive curations, of course, shows. And I would like to show you 3 examples of this kind of inclusive shows. The first is Gallery Tate, and it was a show actually one item, but a very big item built by the Kara Walker. Kara Walker is an English artist, and she actually work explores idea around identity, race, and sexuality and violence, and of course the slavery history. And this movie about her installation, this is a very famous fountain. You can find this movies on the website of Tate Gallery, but also you can find those movie on YouTube. And in this 6 minutes movie, Kara showed how actually she built, how she worked under this item, and also she told us about her inspiration, how she created this big show. Another example is Museum museum in Netherlands, and this is very interesting compilation of what I said in the beginning. So the influence of artists, but also engaging the audience. This show took a few years actually to collect the items, and the curator was very interested in the local society. They made a lot of they worked together very close with the local society, and also with the artists from all over the world. And also the show was created in the way that even people with certain disabilities could enter. And of course, you can also see quite a long material explaining how this show was created, what was behind. Another interesting example is also from Netherlands. This is Rijksmuseum. And this is also very inclusive curation, because even you can see in this picture, one of the curators was a Black woman, so actually ancestors of the Afro-American who came to Netherlands probably as a slave. And then also during this show, the museum collected all over the world pieces belongs to the Afro-American and mostly Afro-American artists. So I wanted to show how the internet and interactive tools can also brought a bigger audience, because all of these materials which I present right now, you can also find on YouTube. Internet, of course, is always about global accessibility, and social media, we can love them or hate them. Of course, they have both of faces, but then suddenly they gave very big platform to share artists, even if they are not very well known, but they have the stage that they have present their art without even big investments, and they can also build their career in the social media. I think that probably the most recognizable example of this kind of career is Banksy. Banksy, when he started with his first mural in Bristol, was probably known only for the few of his friends, but his work was so interesting that first of all, local newspaper start an article about him, but that was so interesting that actually this message spread it like a virus, and actually right now Banksy is very well known to the very broad publicity. And also his murals or his artwork you can see in many places. But also internet gives us a more professional tool. So not only social media, but right now you can find more and more platforms where you can, with a really small investment, show your work. And these are some kind of like curated marketplaces to show your art. First of this is what you can see is exhibit. Another place is also Art Placer and Art Logic, and it's a very interesting tool when you can actually make a show. Of course, it's virtual. It's 3D only. But then, thanks to these tools, your work can be shown to very to many people in the same time, and also those people can buy and also can learn about artists, because on this platform artists can make their own profile. Another tools for also artists who are maybe less known is like Sachi Art. This connects this platform connects emerging and established arts with a global audience. They also have some kind of like a advisory service. So they offer free art advisory to help buyers to discover and purchase pieces that suits their taste. Another platform is Art Finder, and this is very also interesting because there is more for independent artists to show and sell their original work. But you can also see that there's are like artists who operates right now, but also you can find pieces of art of from the past. So actually, many different items. And also quite interesting platform is Etsy, and then is really very big range of different art pieces you can find on this platform. Also handmade small pieces of we can use on a daily basis. My conclusion actually is that I wanted to present you only very small number of existing tools and existing possibilities, but my conclusion is that the internet right now is a little bit something like Gutenberg press was in the past. Because before the Gutenberg invented his press, the books were only the books were in a very small number, and the access to the books has a very small limited group of people, mostly very rich people. But after Gutenberg started a revolution, and the books actually right now are everywhere. You can even see a few of them in my background. So I think that the internet might play quite a similar role because internet is this platform, the space when the artist can meet with the audience. There is no barrier, there is no judgment. So actually, it's I think, in my opinion, it's quite very nice environment to create more diversity and inclusion. And actually, I would be very happy to maybe know your opinion. What do you think about how this online tools can develop the inclusion and diversity in art world?
Thank you so much, Monika. Thank you so much, of course. Our next speaker is Mirella Bärnthaler. Mirella is a management consultant and senior project manager at Calibaco, and a business coach in Web 3D related projects. She holds a master's degree in European project and public management and worked in the creative and cultural industry before turning to new technologies. She gained experience in blockchain-based token economy projects, asset development for the energy market, validation processes, and governance in DAOs. Her clients include the European Commission's UNICEF and the Museums of Applied Arts in Vienna, Austria. Her focus is on implementing the token economy in community governance and expanding community engagement through digital reward structures for the benefit of all stakeholders. Welcome, Mirella. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, and okay, you can start. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, David, for having me. And apologies that I have been rather silent. There has been a lot going on since you asked me to come to this stage. And yeah, I was actually thinking and hoping at the beginning that I would present the Museum DAO, the MAC DAO that we had built for the Museum of Applied Sciences, but I might start with that. So start with the story and then unwrap. So I'm not going to have a presentation right now, but please feel free to contact me and also reach out to me if you have questions. I will just I don't know, do you showcase my contact dates to the audience as well? So we can have that so people can contact me. So first of all, the story how I got into DAOs. DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization which gained a huge traction during basically the beginning of the bull markets of blockchain, like Ethereum. It also has to do that Ethereum introduced tokens that could be built on blockchain. Tokens are just digital representatives of value or utility, you could call them, and they can have certain rights, certain how would you say, a journey or certain utilities and tasks attached to them. They are written down in code. The code is called the smart contract. So I'm giving here a very quick overview. I hope that people do know a little bit of blockchain, because that would just go a little bit too deep. Now, DAOs have, as a decentralized autonomous organization, are basically fit to be built on blockchain. Why? Because blockchain is a digital ledger technology, basically one of them. There are several. And digital ledger technology means that not only one server hosts as a silo all of the information, but there are several partners who can actually run a blockchain together. They host the blockchain, so everyone's got the same information at the same time and validates information that is put on the blockchain together. Basically, that is one of the big topics of Internet of today. So that this is something that is also the basic idea that stands behind Web3. That you own actually your own information, you own your own assets digitally on the internet. And how can we transfer this actually this new method of actually governance to the physical world? This is the big question, and this is how all these projects actually start to come into life. Because at one hand, we are quite happy to have all our data and all our sort of like keys, if you want to say it like that, within a secured system, which would make it a custodial system, which would make it a system that is basically managed by one entity. And on the other hand, we would like to have freedom. So freedom means that we have to take over responsibility. So decentralized autonomous organizations are also not only about the idea of actually, just having the rights, but also having the responsibility. that comes with these rights. It's basically a digitalized version of a democratic idea. When we look at DAOs and we look at the topic of DAOs in combination with museums, as much as the Museum of Applied Arts in Vienna, the idea was born that the Museum of Applied Arts, that has a very strong actually section in digital design and digital design and digital applied art, they wanted actually to do something with blockchain. For all of you who are sort of like working in this space, something with blockchain is also a very dangerous sentence, basically because people have no idea about what they're talking usually. And in that case, we realized actually, I said that the only way we could do a DAO actually with the Museum of Applied Arts was to look at actually their audiences, because the audiences were quite well known to the museum. So if you look at doing a DAO, you want to do a decentralized organization with a purpose. So DAOs evolve around a cause that is important to a group of people. If you don't have a cause, you don't have a DAO. So the cause is not enough to say, okay, there's the museum and there is the audience, but the audience should do something. They should participate in a way. And so that was actually where we, and I can say today, we failed to implement actually a DAO, a working DAO for the museum, because the museum was itself very centralized, and it was trying to actually use a decentralized structure to communicate and to involve the audience. The idea behind it is quite complicated, because if you don't have really a decentralized mindset, and I can tell you that most of us don't have it, because we're used very much to actually refer to an authority, refer to a sort of an institution, or be dependent on somebody managing us, our dates. Artists are exception to the rule mostly, but basically all institutions, they are governed by a centralized entity. So that means that you come to this question where you ask yourself, are we allowed to do that? Or we also ask the question, can we allow people to do that? And that's the wrong way. So a decentralized autonomous organization is where everyone has the same rights. And you cannot take away these rights. So you automatize them. And every time an action comes into sort of like is enforced, then certain rules come into action and they just follow up. So for example, and that's one thing you have to know about a DAO when you do it. The Museum of Applied Sciences, Applied Arts, in Vienna, at the end, they realized that they didn't know what really to do with their audience, which is a great realization for them. They wouldn't admit it really, but that's why the DAO never came into place. And also it exists on Discord. It is not really sort of like used for any good, you could say. But during this whole process, actually, there happened a few really beautiful things. And one thing was that I stumbled across a small blockchain that is called Hive. And Hive has a very interesting system of how to gain actually rights and how to curate. And it was actually created as a social media platform, a decentralized social media platform, where sort of like several front ends could run actually on this blockchain. It's text-based very much, so it has its problems with creating some audio apps, DApps on the blockchain, but actually for blogging, it is really great. So what people do there, they blog about their experiences, and others read about that and they vote about it. And this principle is actually a great principle of an engagement that is necessary to keep a decentralized autonomous organization running. So I looked into Hive and I discussed a lot with them. So they also offer the service of creating NFTs. You can also assign royalties to the NFTs, and so there were some actually tools there which made me think about what if it's not one museum that creates the DAO, but actually the audience and the artists join up to create a museum DAO. Why do we call it a museum DAO? It is very much at the beginning at the moment, is because it's something that sort of like people can relate to. People can relate to museums as a source of knowledge, as a source of art, if we talk art museums, as a source of exhibits that they haven't seen before, and also in exhibitions you gain sort of like knowledge of all kind of how to view certain things. It opens up your mind. So in an ideal case, a museum is actually a great thing to go, great place to go to. And so we don't know about all the museums in the world. So we started are about to start now to start blogging about museums and just doing this research work, that when we happen to be somewhere and we happen to enter an exhibition, we look at the artwork, we just blog about it, we take pictures about it. And on the same at the same time, so that's the activity for the outside, so people sort of like can engage in an easy way. But on the other hand, we also have this discussion where we go like, so what is it what museums hold, and how could you tokenize that, and how could you engage actually with the museum? The museum, and this is things that are at the moment actually, yeah, the core of our research is that we say museums have assets that they own. So these assets are in terms of, if you look at an art museum, it would be art. It's the easiest example, so I'm sticking with art. And so they buy art. Art bought by a museum, and especially by a renowned museum, means for the artist that the price for future artworks will rise. This is one thing, and there is also, museums have also this sort of like conservation idea. So when your artwork is with a museum, it's sort of like, it's going to be displayed, it's going to be shown to an audience. And so assets of a museum could be something that could be tokenized. So we're looking into ownership structures, could a digital ownership of an asset that is owned physically by a museum look like? And that's quite interesting that Monika referred to inclusive curation in sort of like, of course, that was inclusivity on another level, but I was thinking also not only inclusive in terms of people who don't have that much access to museums, but it would be also a curation of including audiences on the whole who are not actually allowed into curation. So if we talk curation of museums, curation of exhibitions, very often we don't have actually, we have an exclusivity, we have curators who do that. We don't have the audience who can curate and can sort of like vote on a piece of art and sort of like also stand up for this piece of art. So it would be interesting to look actually into how you could tokenize assets and how you could make these assets available and accessible to an audience so they can own it and they can present it and curate it into a new exhibition, for example, or also just be responsible for it and identify with the artist and the artwork. So that would be one thing that we could do. with tokens in a museum. We could also create, and that is, for example, that is basically going back to tokens and to blockchain. You have actually the opportunity to create a financial pool, and you can by buying into that token. So you would have a pool actually of disposable fiat or even a currency. It could be a blockchain currency that could be used for funding. So the donation to a pool could also be a delegation to do some funding with actually the revenue that flows into that pool from the tokens that are purchased by the audience. And with this pool, you could vote on new projects that could again support artists. And then the last point that I always want to point out, and which is so important in the artwork, and we're looking into that in another project, is the way how NFTs are not really only for digital art, but are used in their utility, that they can create an ownership for something. And every time the NFT is passed on because there is a purchase happening, royalties go back to the artist, and royalties could also flow into a fund funding artists. So there is a whole new financial model that can come out of that using blockchain technology. And I hope very much that a lot of artists come and join and discuss that within the Museum DAO. And I will just put the link into the chat and to contact me or maybe follow me for the time being on the best is actually at the moment LinkedIn, because I've left Twitter for obvious reasons. And so I'm still trying to set this up, but the idea is there, and I'm very happy if people follow. Thank you.
Mirella, thank you so much for your. This is super interesting, the topic. Yeah, this is really something that is opened and will open a lot of opportunities to bring more day into the art world and for many artists also. Yeah, this is really, for me, this is a very interesting topic. And now, yeah, we will start the Q&A questions. I don't know, the public would like to set up questions, but I have a question for Monika, and I have a question for Mirella also. Yeah. Monika, for me, this is very interesting. So to bring the auto transport and to the idea of how this is now the organization creating day for the companies and how we can transport their experience into the art world. Yeah. And for me, it will be I'm very curious, yeah, how you deal with this leadership and with the people to start creating and permeate so they not only between them but also outside of the company. Yeah. So for example, how to create day in the decision making of contracting providers. Yeah. For example, yeah, that they don't say, yeah, I will contract only this kind of providers, yeah, instead of this, yeah, because they are seeing each other, because they are different, because they are from other age or from another country or from looks different, yeah, and this is something like a little more, neutral, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so from my point of view, it looks like you said, that how to attract this someone from outside of the organization, and for the most organization, that it has two aspects, because they want to attract clients, but they also want to attract talents into the organization. And right now we observe that actually this that was even this probably my article which you found that on LinkedIn. Is it the equality and diversity only like one-time trend and then it will pass? And I think it's not. Actually, it's something what we start to discover that is more and more important in our daily life, and especially in this VUCA world when everything is changing so rapidly. So then, when you build a team in your company, you want to have this team to be the most diverse, because then you have a lot of different. You can have a lot of different approaches to the problems. The different people can bring you different solutions. They have different background. They have different experiences collected from different cultures, and then makes your company stronger. But another aspect is, of course, they doing this for their clients, so it's some kind of like a PR tool, because right now this is very I think important trend, like we can call it like follow the money. So right now when we are I have this feeling that we are more and more aware consumers also. So when we buy something, we would like to check the company if the company follows the standards, like for example, for clothing business, if they use the children, or like for cosmetics, do they test on animals? But then right now also the diversity and inclusion is some kind of what we would like to check. We would like to know if this company is really doing something positive to environment, I mean for the local communities. And more companies is trying to involve local communities in their even the daily operations. So I think the same should be in the art world, because the art in the end is for the audience. So the audience, we have in Poland, because I was born in Poland. Right now I live in Netherlands, but we have this. We have the sayings that people voting by feet. So it means that if the show will be visited by many people, then the curators will know these items were popular, and they would like to create more and more the similar showings, because in the end, even if the cultural institution are donated, or they don't need to bring money as a result of their functioning, they actually like to be visited, because that's the role. So that I think that's the most strong link. But did I?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Your question, or is
Thank you so much. You know, I was trying to take in the similarity, because in the museum there are curators, and they take decisions, So they the decision of selecting artists or selecting artworks. At the end, there is a board who is also backing up the decisions and there is some kind of community in the museum who is making the decisions. Yes, the decision making. And this is how to all implant in all these people, this way to have the neutrality in the decision making.
Yeah, but then okay, so parallel might be like this, that you have the owner of the company, you have the management board, but you have also the employees. And if the employees are not they don't feel welcome, and they don't find what actually some kind of a bigger purpose in their work, they will leave. So I think it might be the same in the cultural art institution, that you can't attract interesting, knowledgeable, and good people if you are in general you are not good and friendly organization.
Yeah. The people resides many. Thanks. Okay, and I want to go to Mirella, that because exactly how the decision making is made in a DAO. Yeah. I mean, when you have people who is thinking or there are three different groups of people that think different, how to make the decision a specific way. I don't know how in the DAO is the decision making performed.
So yeah, thank you for the question. There are different ways how to do it. So you have all ways of algorithmic sort of like calculations. So you could have a 1-to-1 vote, which is the easiest way. You can also have a quadratic voting, or a sort of like where your voting power depends on your actually engagement within the DAO. Now, engagement within the DAO, and this is something we looked into, can be measured in two ways. Either you have sort of like a gamification process, where you really have to sort of like engage, or engagement very often also works with just the money flow. That means that the more tokens you possess, the more engaged you are, which is not really an engagement process, because there you very much get into a plutocracy, which has happened actually in many DAOs. So people who held lots of tokens had more voting power when they voted on a process, while those who had only 1 or 2 tokens had no rights. So this is, for example, something that with quadratic voting can be sort of like minimized, but we were actually looking into creating a sort of like meritocracy based on engagement within the DAO that then never took place. So there is a scientific paper on all the simulations, and it basically was a gamification process for people who would engage with the topics of the museum, start quests, actually tried to create project groups, tried to discuss actually what was happening in the exhibitions. The problem with all this was that it was structured without the beautiful structure that Monika was just talking about, which is actually that you have this curation, and you actually allow this curation within your system, because actually the MAC is very much centered like audiences should come, look, and go again, and so they didn't really want this interaction with their audiences. And during the project, we also realized that they didn't really know much about them. So they had Google stats about them. They had all sorts of stats, but really knowing about, because I said, so what would it be the audience would like to see in the museum? Why don't we use the DAO to actually question these things? Start there. No, we don't want this, because we don't want them to interfere actually with our artistic curation. And that was actually then a project that can be a sort of like a topic that can't be solved by the blockchain, because it's basically am I thinking in a centralized way, which is I decide, I put up and I also have to sort of like report to some funding entity, or whether I say, okay, I let my audience in and I let my audience actually create and try to engage. And so I'm really sorry that the project failed, but so I would really like to follow up also with you, Monika, because maybe we could just look at a model that could be sort of like a model, actually showcase what would be needed that a DAO would work. Because that's the biggest problem, actually. You know, people look like, oh, let's do a DAO. I mean, not so much now, but 2 years ago, and then they realize, actually, I don't want to lose control. And with the DAO, you set the rules, and once you set the rules, you let go. So the DAO will always be there. It's a very, very interesting concept. And I've realized that I need people to understand much more about blockchain. And this is why I like to go on Hive, because you can't do much harm there. So you won't lose money. you don't invest much. It's a very friendly community, because they really talk to each other, and they don't talk about money usually. They talk about tech a lot, they talk about coding a lot, but they also talk about all sorts of topics that are just there in the world. And that makes it so accessible for people like I am, because I'm not a coder.
Yeah, at the end there are people behind. Yeah, and there's about people, and they don't I think they don't take in count that the people is a very changing entity. Yeah, and this is not control. They can it's not possible to control, and they reside in the wish of power. Yeah. Yeah, that is yeah, you know. But I was thinking in some kind of solution that could be in the middle. Yeah, because we have two extremes. Yeah, we have an extreme that is the decentralized, and the other total decentralized. Yeah, and maybe something in the middle where the community can propose, yeah, some for example, in the art world, propose some exhibitions, curated exhibitions, and the museum is open to consider all these to these ones. Yeah, so it is something like a solution in the middle, in some kind of steps to go into the next DAO.
Yeah, I think, David, that was the example I show you. Maybe I didn't talk enough about the certain projects, but this project, Van Abbe Museum in Netherlands, it was called The Way Beyond Art. And then actually the power of this project was that they actually consult everything with the local communities, but also more abroad with different artists and activists. And then this project was some kind of like a compilation of different voices. And then also another aspect that this was presented was very accessible with the people with some disabilities. So this kind of project might be some example how to do it. I have this I'm lucky right now because I live in the country which is actually known from inclusion and diversity. So I think we can find a lot of more examples here, so we can share.
Great. Thank you so much, Monika. Thank you so much, Mirella. I don't know if someone has another question, Sara or another people from the public. Yeah, we have another 2 minutes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sara. I just wanted to ask you if you can please share the link to the museum you just mentioned, Monika.
Of course.
Yeah.
Van Abbe Museum.
Yeah, maybe Monika, you can share if it's possible. You can share your presentation,
yes,
and we can share it in our wiki, in the wiki, and to share it all.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
It was actually both of the Mirella and Monika, both your talks are a very, very, very nice follow-up on what we were talking about yesterday in the conference. We were talking about why museums do not do surveys and ask the local community what they want to see. And like we were thinking about it, but I've never imagined that some museum actually did this and went on with it, and I think that would be a great example. Thank you so much. And Mirella, it's like the first time I've ever heard of blockchain and the currency, the blockchain currencies. I thought, okay, it's the decentralization in the world is beginning, and the pillars of this decentralization are blockchain technology, and like it is enabling us to do this kind of decentralization. And the first thing that I loved about it the most was that nobody can ban you from doing a transaction. And it was great. Like, for the first time, I felt there is no higher ups who can manage what you own and your property. So, great idea. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay, Monika, Mirella, thank you so much for your participation, for your talks, for your sharing your knowledge and your experience. Yeah, we keep in touch, and we will keep doing some steps in this direction. Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and now we will end this speak session, and and then the next one. Excuse me.
Someone just posted a question.
For Mirella.
For Mirella, yeah. They ask, Mirella, do you have any thoughts on how to get people to give up that control after the DAO failed?
I don't think that you can force people, so my thought on it is that basically maybe a museum, an institution that is so much rooted, like in Austria, is so much rooted within a system of like ownership by the government, for example. So they are maybe not the right person to start with. So they will come up at a later stage. We do have another museum in Vienna, the Belvedere, that does a lot of projects using actually blockchain, but more in the virtual world, sort of like VR and AR and actually tokenizing, like what you see in gaming, basically. So you have your skin tokenized and things like that, and you own it. It's not owned by the game, it's owned by you. So you can take it with you. So these are more the things that they look at. I believe that basically it's not about the people who own the control to give up control. It's about the people who actually participate in like a museum, like audiences, where you should start. And I think that for me now, I want to start with artists as well, to actually get into this mood of reconsidering how to create value out of the artwork, how to create value out of their work, and not to be too dependent on the system that the art market, for example, offers. But it's not an either or, but it's more like to have more options. So that is also something that I'm looking into that. So with museums, I'm happy to address, but I think they have to be ready, like Monika's examples. They have to have done that before. Then you can go and bring in some technological level. But it's like the biggest thing that you have to consider in blockchain. It's at the end of the day, it's just technology. So it's used by people, and if people are not ready for the technology, then you're not going to implement anything. So you can't force anyone to think decentralized. That doesn't work.
Thank you so much. I hope that they added something. Yeah, they say very insightful. Thanks. Thank you so much. Mirella.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Ciao. So we welcome to everybody to the next discussions and debate. Now we will end this speaker session, and we will see at in 1 hour or more or less at 14 hours Central European time, and to start the debate and the discussion about the metrics of how to bring more diversity, or how to consider a museum more diverse, equal, and inclusive. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in around 1 hour. Ciao.
Bye.